From my viewpoint, I think that a lot of the Tories are kind of flaming a lot of the fears and fear mongering on the subject. I think it is important for us as an immigrant society to look at the rules and how immigrants come to Canada and from the States. But I would say that, I don't think that's our biggest concern on the plate.
I really think the Conservative government is making a little bit more of a big deal than they should be. Of course, they're trying to win the next election, but under 50,000 people in the span of like a year isn't that many. They're obviously facing a hard time in the U.S., and as long as they're going through the proper processing, then that's fine by me. We have a really strong history of immigration law, and I think we're doing a fine job with it.
To an extent, I feel like it could be affecting our politics just because we are like the upstairs neighbors to the U.S., so it is going to affect us. We do have a lot of trades and involvement with the U.S., so it will affect us.
Same situations as having in Europe right now is happening here. Is that with a lot of immigration, people are anxious about their way of living, and the governments are becoming more right-wing.
I think it's getting Canada and the U.S. a little bit into hot water with each other. Obviously, with Canada, we're so welcoming to an extent. It makes us re-evaluate our relationship with the States.
It's been a big deal lately. I think
politicians are using it in their favor and just to be elected, not because their heart is in it, and it's ingenuine.
Okay.
And I think it's dividing the country.
Yeah. Can you say that again for me?
I think it's dividing the country.
Well, it seems to be a hot button issue. I see it in the news all the time. People are talking about it. Conservatives, liberals, it's obviously a big issue for a lot of people. I don't know how it affects the average person and their day-to-day. I mean, I can't say that it's affecting me in a way that I've noticed, but all I know is that, it is a big hot button issue with a lot of people right now trying to decide what to do with all of these people.
I feel the same way. I don't know what else could be said.
You think it does have an effect on Canadian politics?
Probably. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more pressure on the Canadian government to do something about it because there's all these people coming in. They need jobs. They need places to live. So obviously there's some pressing matters there. But
I think it's a bit of a lightning rod. I think it's probably a little overblown. But the arrangement we have, this business about being illegal or irregular, is ridiculous. I mean, the fact that you come across at a border crossing or not, if you come in illegally, you should be classified as illegal and go through the same process. I mean, everybody should go through the same process. My parents emigrated here. They went through the same process. It's different, obviously, for them. But, these unfortunate folks who are getting in from the States, it's only a few thousand. We can afford a few extra thousand people. So, it's not that bad.
I think politicians are just ignoring the problem. Trudeau is being the worst. He just ignores it like it's not there anymore. It's a problem that's not happening, and it is a problem.
I just don't like what they provide to them, as opposed to what they're giving to our own citizens. So it seems that they're giving a lot more money towards these people than they're giving to, veterans, people like that.
I hope it won't. But so far, I think the current Canadian government, are a lot welcoming towards refugees that are people from war-torn countries, and I don't see there is any change of attitude since the new government in U.S. and hopefully it stays like that.
Well, I think everyone is always afraid of not finding a job because they think people coming in is a competition for them. So there's always this kind of fear of the unknown that can affect people and be closed up and not welcoming as they could be.
It too is becoming more polarized. I've been following some of the opposing sides North 99, Ontario Proud on Facebook, and we're having a lot of that kind of polarized debate in comments about asylum seekers and the Prime Minister opening the borders to just about everyone that we can't get documentation on. So it's becoming it has become a political hot potato in Canada as well. And I fear the kind of factions that we're seeing in the United States are also showing up in Canada. So we have politicians playing to those constituencies. Both, I don't want to say left and right, both pro-nationalist and pro-immigrant. And of course, they're not immigrants, they're asylum seekers, some are refugees. So there's also the confusion of language about what to classify them as, and people are not taking the time to really be informed. And I think the government's not doing as good a job as they could to inform people about the process either. They're kind of taking the attitude, we Canadians accept everyone, and not all Canadians do.